You might know him better as a muscle-up-popping, ninja warrior-running YouTuber. But not that long ago, Magnus Midtbø was an elite-level rock climber, battling it out on the international competition circuit. In fact, for 15 years, he competed at the highest level of competition climbing, traveling the globe and participating in World Cup and championship events across Europe, Asia, and North America. He was pretty good, too, and impressively finished in the top 15 in 86% of the events he entered, and even held the crown as the Norwegian climbing champion for an outrageous 14 years in a row. But what's even more impressive is how this guy virtually single-handedly put Scandinavian climbing on the map. Never before had a Norwegian climber competed on the international stage, and Magnus pioneered the way by maintaining strict training regimes, seeking out sponsorships, and preparing for competitions almost entirely alone. But his professional career probably wasn't the fairy tale story that he hoped for. Magnus went toe-to-toe with some of the greatest climbers in competition history, and had to grapple with the highs and lows of life as a pro athlete. Despite some moments of glory along the way, after 18 years as a professional climber, Magnus decided to hang up his vest and retire from international competitions for good.
I don't want to compete in World Cups anymore.
The bridesmaid, never the bride in a sense, because he's there or thereabouts. He's very often in the final.
You see, Midtbø was going toe-to-toe with some of the greatest climbers of his generation, and was often falling short of the medal positions. The competition circuit was dominated by Jakob Schubert, Sachiyama, and Ramon Julián, arguably some of the greatest athletes to ever put on a pair of climbing shoes. He would have to wait until 2011, 4 years after his first senior event, before he would eventually stand on an IFSC podium. One of the best results of his career came at the 2011 Chamonix World Cup, where he put up an epic fight on the lead wall, finishing just one move short of the gold medal position. Not long after, he would go on to match this third-place finish at the 2012 Kran World Cup. By the 2011 season, there was little doubt that Magnus was at the peak of his career. He had just won his first medal at the World Cup, and the previous summer, he had made the second ascent of the Ali Hawk sit-start extension, making him the 6th person in the world to climb a route graded 9B. Midtbø was in prime shape for the upcoming World Championships. The Norwegian TV broadcaster, NRK, even sent a camera crew to follow Magnus in the build-up to the event, hoping to capture an epic win for the country's top climber. The 2011 Acro World Championships kicked off with 138 climbers from 50 countries, battling it out for a place in the semi-finals. Magnus cruised through the first qualifying round, and despite getting spat off the roof in the semis, he secured a spot as one of the 8 competitors heading to the finals. On the lead wall, he came out the gate swinging with an aggressive start, effortlessly passing the high point of the 4 previous competitors. And while he did enough to secure a preliminary first place, the victory didn't last long. Almost immediately, Adam Ondra and Jakob Schubert ruined the party, with both competitors falling short on the final hold, pushing Magnus into 3rd position. As Ramon Julián, the final climber, took to the wall, it quickly became apparent that it wasn't going to be the fairy tale ending that Magnus, or the film crew, was hoping for. Ramon put on a masterclass of climbing prowess and near effortlessly topped the route, etching Magnus off the podium and finishing in 4th position. Despite coming tantalizingly close to what would have been his greatest competitive achievement, Magnus was remarkably positive about the result.
Liksom alle de beste I verden, at skal ikke klage. Skal ikke klage på at det bare 3 som bedre enn meg I verden.
Over the years that followed, there were other glimpses of greatness throughout his career. At the 2013 World Games, an international event for the unusual and often downright bizarre sports that aren't represented at the Olympic Games, he clinched yet another 3rd-place finish, as well as another bronze medal at the legendary Rockmaster competition that same year. But as 2013 came to a close, it became clear that something was beginning to change. Throughout the 2014 and 2015 seasons, Magnus began to appear less regularly in the finals, often getting etched out in the semifinal stages. It was becoming apparent that his love for competing was beginning to wane. 15 years as a professional athlete had begun to take its toll, and he was becoming increasingly tired of the rigorous dieting, as well as balancing the intense training with his growing commitments to YouTube and other business interests.
I competed because I felt like it was my job, but not because I wanted to compete. And that's not how it should be, and it's also not how, you can't perform if you think that way.
In the semifinals of the 2015 Stavanger World Cup, after getting spat off the semifinal route one move short of the finals, it would be the last time Magnus appeared at a World Cup event. He would continue to compete at the national level for another 2 years, winning the Norwegian Championship twice more, taking his tally to 14 national wins, and cementing his legacy as the country's most successful climber. But it was clear that his journey as a competitive athlete was coming to an end, and the 2017 Norwegian Championships would be the last professional event of his career. Despite never standing at the top of a World Cup podium, Midtbø's journey to becoming an international competition climber was an epic story of perseverance and determination. From the years spent battling with the greatest athletes in the sport's history to single-handedly putting Norwegian climbing on the map, you can't help but admire his journey to becoming one of the top climbers of his generation. Smash that subscribe button to stay tuned.